Now let us delve deeper into Docker file, a file where you have to list down all the instructions based on which your image will be created. First, create a file with the name Docker file in a separate directory, and then open the file to write down all the instructions in it. The first line of a Docker file always specify the base image that you want to use for your final image. Here we use the Ubuntu image. You can specify that with the from command of Docker. That is from followed by the image name, that is Ubuntu, what we have downloaded few minutes back in the last video. The next one is specify which user should make the changes inside that base image. This is just like logging in into the operating system image. The corresponding command is user, and here we have used root user to make all the changes. The next part is basically listing down all the commands that you want to, based on which your image will be modified. The thing is basically repetitive, basically executing all the commands inside the OS image. The corresponding keyword is run. After this run, you have to specify the OS specific commands that you want to execute in that image, in that base image. Now here we are using an Ubuntu base image, so we have run all the Ubuntu specific commands inside it. For example, the first one, we are updating the Ubuntu operating system, that is run followed by the Ubuntu specific update command, that is apt-get -y update. Next, we are trying to we would like to install the Vim software, which is basically an editor, as root. The corresponding command in Ubuntu is basically apt-get install -y vim, and here this command is just preceded with this run docker command. The same way in here, basically we are trying to create an user named Onstitute and adding it to the sudo group. If you search over internet, you can easily find that this user add -rm -d and followed by all these different things is basically nothing but the command to create a user in Ubuntu. And here, since we are trying to do it inside a Docker image, we have just used it after the run command. Then again we have used user. That means we are changing the user from root to Onstitute. The next command is work_dir. Means it specifies the working directory for the Docker image. Here I have specified the Docker working directory as home Onstitute, that is home directory of Onstitute user. After setting this work_dir, all the next actions will take place inside this directory. For example, if I try to create a directory using the mkdir command, that is mkdir and with the name test directory, then this directory will be created inside this home Onstitute. If you want to copy a local file to a specific place inside a Docker image, then you can utilize this copy command. This copy command is followed by the name of the file in your local file system, followed by the place where inside the image where you want to actually copy that file. Here I want to copy a file.txt from my local machine to home Onstituted test directory of the image. There can be any number of commands, like any number of run, any number of copy in here. The last command of the Docker image is a Cmd command. Cmd basically specifies the command that you want to execute while launching the image or when start running the image. Here actually I want to cat, that means write down the content of a file.txt on the command prompt when the image will launch. So if I just do cmd then cat followed by the file path, whenever we will image after creation of this image, whenever we will launch this image, it will write the content of a file.txt on the command prompt. Now there are some frequently asked questions. The first is, what is the difference between run and cmd? If you have a prior programming knowledge, then it is very easy to understand. Just think of run as your compile time environment. That is, run lets you execute the commands inside your Docker image. These commands get executed once during the build time, or let's say the compile time. Whereas CMD is just like the runtime environment of your program. That is, it lets you define the default command to run when the container starts or when the image is launched. Another question that is important to know, and many times it is a source of mistake. If you want to install a software in the Docker image which pauses for license agreement and asks for user input, well, Docker cannot handle it. So you should use the flag or switch that automatically answers those user questions. For example, you must notice the -y in the comment in the Docker file when I was using vim. So if you see run apt get install -y vim, this -y basically automatically answers yes for all the questions during the installation of vim. If you do not know about those flags for your particular software, then you have to search over internet, or if it is not available, then contact the developers of those software. So that is about the Docker file. For the best experience, just write down this file by yourself in your machine to get some confidence in working with Docker file.